Hello, beloved. It's me, James Henry, and this is the time on a regular basis, weekly, when I do some sacred reading with you. Also known in Latin as Lectio Divina. You might have heard of it in either of those two ways, or you might not have heard about it at all. And in either case, that's perfectly fine. What we do when we read, when we do sacred reading, Lectio Divina, is we anticipate Spirit will speak to us through sacred texts. And so we sit with the sacred text, reading small snippets or portions of it. I've known people who do longer portions of it, but I tend to do shorter portions. And listen for Spirit to speak now, to me, to you, right where we are. It's not just the belief that we can know something about what someone else said about the divine, but that we can know and experience divine reality ourselves, that we can connect to Spirit, and that Spirit can speak truths we need to hear, whether they be about encouragement or calling us out. We can hear those in our everyday life if we slow down and listen. Everything in life can actually mirror to us what God might want to say. But sacred reading is a way to do so intentionally. So we slow down, catch our breath, we read the text. I read it aloud. I encourage you to read aloud when you do Lectio Divina, because it engages more than just your eyes and your brain, but your whole body, the vibrations of your vocal cord, the hearing of your ears. When you read it aloud yourself or hear it read aloud, particularly when you read it yourself, you can feel the vibrations in the top of your head. I'm feeling them right now. You can feel them all the way, if you pay attention, to the bottom of your feet, which I can feel right now. So it impacts us, because Spirit is not something, Spirit is not something beyond us, but around us and within us and in all places. So when we sit with, the body is one of those receptors to hear what Spirit may say. So listen for a word or a phrase or an image that rises for you. Today's reading is a little bit longer than usual. We're reading from 1 John, continuing there. We're in chapter 3, and I'm reading verses 7 through 9 today. So listen for a word from the Lord. My much-loved children, do not let anyone take you down the wrong path. The chosen one always did what was right. So the ones who keep walking in his right ways show they are in good standing with him. The ones who stay with walking in broken ways are following the evil trickster, for he has been walking in broken ways from the beginning. The reason Creator's Son appeared was to bring an end to the ways of the evil trickster. Those who have been born from the Great Spirit do not keep walking in broken ways. They are not able to, for Creator is their Father, and he has planted his message deep within them to stay. If you want to turn the message off now, you can. And you can just listen to what Spirit may have spoken to you. But I'm going to say a little bit about what I heard. There are a number of images that rose up for me, but the one that caught me most is trickster. And what I find most interesting about that image is the trickster plays a part in life in so many ways. And trickster is the perfect description, because I can trick myself into believing just about anything. I can convince myself that what I'm doing is the right thing. Uh, and others can use the right images to convince me and you that we are doing the right thing when in fact what we're doing is not so much. And it's very hard sometimes to discern that trickster is leading us in the broken ways. We instead convince ourselves that we are going in the right way, and we blind ourselves. We put on blinders, so all we can do is myopically see the future that we imagine is true without any of the peripheral things that tell us, oh no, this is a trick. We can trick ourselves into believing in politicians. We can trick ourselves into believing in false narratives about sacred truths. We can trick ourselves into believing that we are supposed to hate or judge some other people. It's just very tricky. And somehow we get tricked by a variety, in a variety of situations, by a variety of people, some of whom we would expect are not meant to be tricky, and yet they are. So I am reminded of how easily I can trick myself. I am reminded of how easily my allegiance to various organizations or ways of seeing can trick me. I am aware that my own culture and its values, which are not always my values, its values can trick me into believing it's okay to do some particular thing, which in all honesty is not okay. So for me, listening to this just cautions me once more to be attentive to what's arising in my life, to look to sacred readings to mirror for me ways in which I might engage this world differently, and that I might not be tricked by the messages that come to me that often seem so innocuous, so inviting, that play on my fears or my own sense of certainty that I'm right, play on those things to draw me down a path I do not belong on. Perhaps you find the same thing, or perhaps something else spoke to you differently in this passage at all. I encourage you, if you're on one of our platforms that allow you to respond, whether it's Facebook or YouTube, for you to write a response. We're hoping one day that we will have a response built into our website. So if you're watching us there isn't one really, but send me an email or share your thoughts. I'm always interested to hear. I do these because I believe they're not only good for me, but perhaps speaking a word of practice into other people's lives and encouragement might help someone. And if it helps even one other person, if it helps me, then it has done as much as I can ask. So I wish you the very best. Please don't forget, you are infinitely precious and unconditionally loved for the gift you are, that Spirit wants to speak into your life. So listen, slow down and listen. Read sacred texts for yourself. Learn to watch the trees dance in the wind. Catch a glimpse of the grass in your front yard or in someone else's. Take a walk in the park. There are all these places where God can be mirrored to us. So until the next time, I wish you the best.